Look, in this video, there's a project I've already done, and I just wanted to show you and hopefully give people some tips on what you need to do. On the rear end of these cars, they come factory with, let's just go around the back of the car for the moment. So go underneath the car, and now factory, these cars come with obviously lower control arm, but they come with an eccentric pin at the bottom here. It's normally around here, and well, you can see that I've actually used the bolt, so you can see the eccentric pin. I've just used it as a bolt anyway. Fits nicely in the original hole. So that's the eccentric pin. So when you have it fully adjusted in, you only get approximately 1.5 negative degrees if you're lucky. So that will still wear the inner edge of your tyre. Now, that's not great for city streets, right, for the track or whatever. And if you adjust it so the pin, so the camber is outward, you'll get somewhere around 2, maybe a little bit more degrees negative. Great on the track, but that's no good for the street. So my car has about 1/4 degree negative, and I think it's about 2 mil toe in. So to achieve that, and you can't achieve that with the factory equipment, so what I wanted to show you is what I've done. So you look across the other side, you can see I've put the lower control arms in. Sorry about that. But these control arms are different to the ones when you look on eBay or whatever. These are quite different to the ones you normally get. Ones you normally get are threaded rods where the thread is right up at the end, at that end and the other end. Now the problem you have is on this side, on the driver's side, or the right hand side of the car, it's not so much of a problem. But when you come over to the left hand side of the car, you end up with an issue. When the thread is up the end, the lock nut is also up at the end. And what happens is, so you can see how far it is up there, and see if I can get a light for you. So you can see how far it is up there, and so what happens is when the lock nut is right up at the end there, you can see the end of the lower control arm here. So when the lock nut's right up at the end there, you can't undo the lock nut. So what you have to do is when you use those sort of lower control arms, is you need to drop the exhaust. Right pain, you've got to drop the exhaust, drop this under tray in order just to undo the lock nut. So you're better off. I got these made, got these from somewhere else, and these are much better because now you can see you've got a shorter section here, lock nut at either end there. The outer edge doesn't really matter anymore, that stays the same, but you end up with a shorter section because you don't need to adjust the whole thing anyway. But you end up with a shorter section, so that now, as you can see, I don't need to have my exhaust or the under tray dropped or anything like that just to crack the lock nut. I had a chat with the wheel alignment guy, a guy in Bristol. He's very good, does 4 wheel alignments, and we talked about this before I did it, and that's where we got the advice to make sure we got control arms like this. So now, not only do I not need to drop the exhaust or anything like that, I now have 1/4 negative degree camber and about 2 mil toe in. Now that you need to make another adjustment, by the way, and I will show you that now. So take this, I mean, what you do is up to you, of course, but this is highly recommended to do this because it gets quite time consuming and quite a hassle to have to drop the exhaust just to crack that nut and to do your rear wheel alignment. Rather annoying. Anyway, so let's go and have a look at the other piece. Okay, the other piece of the puzzle is, can we see in there? Let's see if we can get some light in. Yep. So the other piece of the puzzle is at the front of the dog leg here. This is the front of your dog leg. Up inside here is where your can you get a view of that? Is where the dog leg mounts. See that round bush up there? So you need to drop that. Now BMW, there's a couple of things you need to do. The bolt that holds the bush in is in fact in the wrong way. So you've got to drop this arm, undo that bolt that holds the bush in, switch it around so it comes in from the other side, so that you can then put it back, because that allows further adjustment, because this is where you get your toe adjustment. You can move this dog leg you know, side to side, so it gets you that adjustment. Sorry, there's a light. So the other thing you need to do, if I can point at it, is just get my screwdriver. The other thing you need to do is, if you can see, you know, the mounting holes, so this is where it mounts. So you've got 3 of those, one there, one over here, and there's one over here. So what you need to do is drop this bracket. So when you take that bolt out to switch the bolt around the other way, drop this bracket. You've got to lever this arm down. It's a bit of a pain, best with a nice long lever bar. Pivot it down so you can get this bracket off. Then you need to, you can see I've already done it. I don't know if you can see there. Let's have a look. And pivot this around a bit so we're not blocking the hole. So this hole here, you need to elongate that hole so that you can get more toe adjustment. So my advice is, firstly, take it to a wheel alignment place to see where your toe is at, what you have, and then from there you then know which direction you need to elongate the hole and by how much. And the wheel alignment guy will tell you. So once you've adjusted that, once you've moved the bolt the opposite way, so the head of the bolt is around the other side, and you've elongated these holes, you'll get plenty of toe adjustment. So those are the key things you need to do to get a good wheel alignment on the back of this thing. So, and as a result, your tyres don't wear as much. So that's what I advise, what I recommend you should do. I mean, how you do it, and if you do it, well, that's up to you. I'm just telling you what I've done. Each of those 3 holes in that bracket, this is your bracket, this part here, this is your bracket. You've got to get that off the dog leg. Each of those holes I elongate. It's just a circular file. Put it in a vise, file it out, doesn't take much, and then you'll get your movement. And so what happens then is, what the wheel alignment guy will do is loosen those 3 bolts off whilst it's sitting on the alignment thing, and he just pivots the back and forth, just pivots the front of the dog leg until you get the toe you want. You've got to do this both sides of the car, and then you'll get the alignment that you want. Well, depending on what you want, of course, but this is a setting that's good for the street, and it's a much better setting than what BMW sets it at. So, and as a result, you can see my tyres. These have been on the car for quite a while, and they're not wearing the inside edge the way they would normally do if you had lots of negative camber. And of course, as a result, you save a lot of money. These tyres aren't cheap. So so I recommend you do those 2 things. You get lower control arms like the ones I said, with the outer section with the adjustable and lock nut section toward the lower end of the control arm, and adjust the elongate the holes and switch the bolt around for the front of the dog leg. And what, if I can see, you can't see which way the bolt is on this because it's inside. Screwdriver. The bolt is inside this section, so I can't show you. It's in there, unless I can get some light in there, perhaps. No, you can't see it. All you can see is the bush. So I can't remember myself which way I pivoted the bolt. So because one side of the bolt obviously has a lot of thread where the nut is, and that knocks on the side of the chassis to prevent you from getting enough toe adjustment, because as you adjust the camber it changes the toe on you. So you need to of course then you need to adjust the toe, and you won't get enough toe if you go, you know, nice low camber like I have. So that's something I wanted to share, and hopefully you find it useful, and if you wish to do the same thing, that's what you need to do. Okay, thanks for watching.